Do you have a very specific desire that you want to bring to reality as soon as possible? Then a great way is to make a prayer about your desire. Prayer is certainly a very powerful tool to manifest anything you desire. That is why you see some variation of prayer in every culture and religion around the world. People have been harnessing the power of prayers since the beginning of time. But in this video, I am about to tell you how to pray in Neville Goddard's style. But before we move on, make sure you have subscribed to my channel as I bring you these amazing videos regularly. So, to really pray the way Neville Goddard prayed for his desires, you have to get a few fundamentals drilled into your brain. Neville Goddard has regarded prayer as the art of believing. That's the simplest and the most powerful definition of prayer you will hear anywhere. It all starts with belief. Whatever you have attracted in your life to this day, and whatever things you are going to attract in your life from this moment onwards, will always stem from an underlying belief. Take any event or experience of your life. Doesn't matter if it was a happy occurrence or something very traumatic. If you reflect on it from a calm state of mind, you will very soon realize that you certainly had a corresponding belief that creates that experience. Some of the beliefs are so subtle that we never know they exist within us, because they are usually buried too far deep into our subconscious mind and we cannot access them through our conscious and logical minds. But that being said, these secret beliefs still impact our lives in profound ways. For example, you may have had a traumatic event in your childhood. Maybe someone very close to you took advantage of their authority and abused you. As a child, you felt violated and emotionally abused. But because you were too ashamed to discuss this with someone, you decided to forget that experience altogether. Now, a naive child might think that forgetting such an emotionally altering experience is easy, but as an adult, you would agree that it's easier said than done. When you try to run away from some emotions and trauma, that trauma gets buried deep into the layers of your mind. It sure gets suppressed for a while, but it doesn't get deleted. Over time, that suppressed energy starts impacting your beliefs about self-worthiness. That's how your self-concept gets created, and that impacts so much of what you go through in life. So, my point was that sometimes such beliefs are directly responsible for what happens to you, but you never acknowledge them because they are hidden so far deep behind your conscious awareness. Praying simply means believing in something with passion without seeing its evidence in 3D. But before you believe in a new future for yourself, you must have a system in place that would eliminate the residual beliefs from your past. A regular practice of meditation is that system. Not only will it clear your mind of all the mental junk that has been lying around for decades, but it will also calibrate your vibration to help you attract all your desires in no time. Once your beliefs are in check, you will start seeing that the effectiveness of your prayer increases 100-folds. Another component of a successful prayer, according to Neville Goddard, is realizing the fact that God is in you and nothing is impossible with God. So many of us pray with the notion that God is an entity somewhere out in the universe, and since it's so powerful, we have to beg God to get what we want. As if begging and pleading will make God like us better, and then our desire will be granted. Sorry to break it to you folks, but there is no such contest going on where you have to prove to be a faithful servant of God to get him to like you or to grant your wishes. God is inside you. You are an extension of the supreme energy. So, the only way to attract your desire to you is to first realize that only you have the power to manifest what you want. Since you and God are one, then who is it that's actually granting your wishes or designing your life experiences? It's you, my friend. That should be a no-brainer. So, accept and understand the mighty power you have within you, and then act like the creator of your own life. You are the only obstacle standing between you and the fulfillment of your prayer. Let go of fear and embrace your God self, your highest self. Believe firmly in your heart that you are capable of giving yourself every blessing in the universe. Only you. Not a God outside of you, but only you, as you are an extension of that energy. Also, when you pray for something, pretend that it's already there. Yes, you heard it right. I used the word pretend here. You have to pretend to be in possession of what you want. You have to feel like you already have what you are praying for. That's an important prerequisite for making your prayer successful. One of my favorite lectures by Neville is Feeling is the Secret. In this lecture, Neville tells us that to have what you want, you first have to assume the feeling of having it. The feeling is what starts the fantastic process of creation. You can create miracles in your life just by properly using your feelings. So many people say that how can they assume the feeling of having something which they don't have yet? Isn't that lying to yourself? The answer is that you have to pretend even if you don't see any evidence in the 3D. You have to pretend as if you have what you want so that you can engage with the feeling of having it. The feeling has to come first, then will come its physical manifestation. That's the core of the law of assumption. Do you want to be married to your soulmate? Then pretend as if you are already married. Embody the state of happiness and satisfaction you will feel after your union. Do you want to earn $1,000 every day? Then pretend that you are already earning that amount. Think of the ways you want to best use that money coming into your life on a consistent basis. Make your mind believe as if you are living in your future where you are earning $1,000 every single day. A big part of pretending is not giving attention to what's happening in the physical world. Don't pay attention to what your senses tell you. Maybe they want to convince you that you are poor, but if you have assumed the state of being rich, then you are rich. The physical reality, or the 3D as we call it, will catch up with your mind on its own sweet time. Meanwhile, just immerse yourself in the feeling of having your desire. Neville used his imagination to pray. Whenever he wanted something, he would visualize a scene of having it just before going to bed every night. This scene would transport his senses and consciousness to the future he wanted to create for himself. Once Neville would reach that end state, he would focus on generating more and more feelings that correspond to that future. Only after his imagination was fully submerged in the state of having what he wanted, he would then go to sleep. This was Neville Goddard's secret way of praying. You can use the very same method for praying for your desires. Every night before you go to sleep, sit up in your bed and do a 10-minute meditation. This is to slow down your brain waves and relax your mind for the next step. Once you are done with your meditation and feel more focused, you can lie down in your bed in a position that will help you stay awake for the visualization. Then imagine a scene which shows the fulfillment of your desire and immerse all your senses deep into the imaginal act. Loop this short scene over and over again in your mind. When you feel sleepy, just go to sleep while still trying to loop the scene in your mind. This is how to pray Neville Goddard's way. Also, to really accelerate the results and kickstart your manifestation, make sure you add gratitude to every prayer of yours. For example, if you are using the method I just told you, then make sure you end every visualization with feelings of pure bliss and gratitude for what you are creating. Interestingly, gratitude is another emotion that helps you transcend the current reality and go straight to end. When you pray this way, be firm in your assumption and try ignoring the reality as much as possible for some time. Your 3D won't instantaneously change after one night of visualization, but with a regular and committed practice, you will start seeing the effects of your mind in your 3D. The next step in your successful manifestation journey is to keep watching my channel. Click now on the video on the screen to be inspired by another video.